Hey, welcome back everyone and happy Saturday. So today I am going to be going through another inspection. Now I know I've been doing a lot more inspection videos lately. Some of you guys really value this, which I am super just humble about it. Secondly, I think this one's a little bit more unique. Not saying that to get views or anything like that, but I'm saying that because everything in this one is going to be slabbed. And I cannot tell you how many times I get messages on a daily basis that ask me, will this cross? How does this look? Will this get a bump? And honestly, I have no freaking idea until you send it to me. Not because I want your business, because I don't even promote that, but really because you can't. Like, there's a lot of scuffs, scratches. You can't tell sometimes if they're on slab or anything like that. And this hopefully will help you guys understand too why it's so hard to actually cross a card in slab over to another company, especially if you're requesting a min grade. Now, you know, I don't care what the dude from Guess the Grade says. You can't really tell from a picture if a card's going to gem like 100%. There's no way to tell just because there's surface things you can't tell from angles. But, you know, hopefully this really kind of helps at least open the minds of, you know, how you should approach maybe looking at slabs if you're trying to cross something. But we'll find out. But let's take a look today and we shall go from there. Alright, so today's episode is brought to you guys by Steve. Steve, I appreciate you. Thank you for sending these over. And we're going to take a look at these. And since you have not done this before, simply all your cards will be listed in the comments section below and time-stamped as well. So if you want to go back and not rewatch the entire video, but had a question about a particular card, you can simply rewatch and then text me if you needed to, and we shall go from there. So hopefully we can make some magic happen here with some of these, but we'll take a look to see why they potentially got the grades they got. First card here is a 98.99 Fleer Electrifying Stefan Marbury. This is in a CSG 9 slab. So let's take a quick look. So if you're trying to cross the PSA, keep in mind that corners and edges are critical, centering not so much, and surface. Typically, I've had experience on the data side, between 3 to 5 flaws can still net you a PSA 10 depending on the severity of it. So let's double check. Let's go from there. First corner here. It looks like it's potentially a little white tip to me. It does look sharp, however, you got the little reflection of the foil, the sparkliness that could throw you off. So simple way to check this is just I turn off the light, turn on my black light, and see if that white tip glows, and it does. So right away, just like that, if you're looking to potentially bump the PSA, it's very unlikely that it's going to happen. And when I say very unlikely, it just means no, just a little bit nicer about it. Second corner here, same thing. You can totally see, I don't know if you guys can tell already, but it's definitely got a white tip. So same thing, just to confirm for you guys. So white tips basically is paper loss. So you can understand when the top stock starts to peel, the underlayer shows up, and usually it's just paper. And paper, white paper definitely glows in the black light. So you got two corners that definitely have some wear. Let's flip it on the back or the bottom side just because the bed's a little short compared to the slab. And third corner also looks like it has a white tip, so there you go. And the final corner over here, this one looks okay. Actually, it still maybe has a little bit of white. Looks like the edge might have a little bit of white as well, but and there you go. The card's just kind of glowing here. So I would tell you, without needing to look any further on this card, is that I would definitely keep this in the slab, because even if you cracked it out and sent it somewhere else, there's a good chance you might not end up getting a 9 again. Next card here is a 86-87 Fleer Larry Bird. This is a BGS 9 with great subgrades, 10 centering, 9.5 corners, 9.5 edges, and an 8 for surface. So BGS is tough. And what I mean by tough is that their slabs are just... They're horrible to look through because of the fact that they're blurry. There's two layers. You have the thick semi-cloudy case. On top of that you have a sleeve, and then the case definitely scratches easy. But so far this one looks pretty good. But let's double check everything. So corner, got 9.5. You can see that that's a very nice corner, especially for 86-87. Second corner, not even a smidge of white, and it's super easy to tell because of the vibrant corners and edges here. Third one, let's double check. Nice and clean as well, good bottom edge, and the last corner is perfect too. So these are really good corners for this particular card. Surface wise, obviously let's see what we can spot. We won't be able to see everything just because of the way, like I said, the slab is, but hopefully we can look for print defects, because that's usually what it is for a card that's old. Got a little black mark right there that could be on the card. It might be in the slab, not 100% sure. That would count as one particular area. Let's see if we can notice any other print issues, just because if we do run into any scratches, I won't be able to tell you if they are on the card or on the slab. Like this one, I can't tell you if it's on the card or slab. And that's why it's so hard to cross. Perfect example of if you request a min grade and you shoot this off, here's another one, and you shoot this off to PSA and you're like, I want to make sure it's a 10, and then you get back a 9.5, you feel like they're just being biased. But reality is that they have to undoubtedly be able to tell that you have a 10 through a slab. There's another dot, to be able to give you a 10. Otherwise, it's, you know, what if they cracked it out, gave you it, and they found all these things, right? You can't go back and put it back in the slab. So just a couple things on the front, maybe not enough to warrant an 8, at least from this view. Backside, here's a little bit of stain, and keep in mind the back counts too. A little bit of bleeding. Corner looks good too. I know that they said it wasn't an issue, but at the same time, I always double check, just because every company's subjective. It's not a one size fits all. Here's another little print run or print issue there. So here's another one. But a couple stains might be the biggest concern on this particular card for me when I'm looking at it, but it's not horrible. It looks worse under the scope, but keep in mind this is under 4x. It is blown up on a big screen for me, just because I don't like straining when I do this, but it's free from fish eyes and stuff like that, but there are a couple little print markers. So I would tell you that it's likely a mint card still somewhere else. Corners and edges give it such a strong foundation, even for PSA, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right, it's just, like I said, I'm thinking out loud. So that card could potentially get you a 9. SGC might be friendlier, but who knows? You won't really know until you see the surface without the slab. So let me know what you want to do there. Next one here we got is a 2020 Justin Herbert Contenders Optic, winning tickets numbered to 99. So let's double check. This got a SGC 9.5. So first corner here, and we've been doing a lot of SGC subs. In fact, I just posted a video yesterday of them not actually grading any harder. This corner looks okay. Looks like it could be a little bit rounded. To me, at least, it does. It's not perfectly sharp, but it definitely doesn't have obvious wear. This corner looks nice and sharp. As you can see, it's undoubtedly sharp. And that's kind of how you want all corners to look realistically, but you can't will that to happen. Surface-wise, let's look for dimples, because same thing. It'll be really hard to tell as far as if scratches are on the card or on the slab through this thing. So that might be a scuff, but once again, might be on the slab. The only things that are typically unmistakable through a slab are print defects, dimples, print lines, stuff like that. So, or I should say thick print lines. Thin print lines could still be just like these. It's probably on the slab, but I cannot tell you for sure. Let's double check the back, see if the corners and edges are good to be a potential candidate here. And I can tell you that corner right there looks a little bit funky. Looks like it's got potentially a little bit of a fold in it as well, but definitely questionable. This corner's got some fraying at the tip, you can see that clearly. So likely why SGC gave it a 9.5, because the front looked pretty decent. That corner's okay, and this particular corner is fair. Looks like there might be some right edge chipping right beneath the corner, but not 100% sure, just because, like I said, in the slab some things are illusions. But realistically speaking, just from the frayed corner alone, you're likely getting potentially a 9 just like that for PSA. So I advise, and I'm cheap. Keep in mind, guys, I risk nothing a lot of times because I'm just incredibly frugal and a cheap person by nature, I guess. So for me, I'd keep it in the slab, but let me know what you want to do. Definitely try and take a look. Next one here is very cool. This is a Beckett 8 7273. Big O Oscar Robertson. So this got an 8, does not give me subgrade, so let's take a look. So first one, corners, you can tell, definitely has some wear, has some paper loss, some edge chipping along with that as well. Just from there, top edge has minor chipping right at the edge. This corner, same thing, round, paper loss, fraying, right edge, looks a little bit choppy, a lot of bit choppy. And then we could just do our best to see this through the scope. More chipping. And more chipping. Bottom edge is fair, still has some chipping on it. And it's not one of those things where you're like, oh, it's an old card, so that, you know, they'll probably be more lenient. They won't. They shouldn't. I mean, a card is a card, and a grade is a grade, at least in my opinion. So you can see all four corners and edges have some wear, noticeable wear, pretty significant. Odds of getting a 9 are probably 0, to be honest with you, but maybe a near mint again with PSA is a potential possibility just based on what we saw, but we'll double check the back to make sure, because if there's a lot more on the back, you also run the risk of potentially getting a downgrade, which, you know, a lot of folks you don't want. The corner looks okay, and most of these cards always look a little bit better on the back. It's pretty funny how that works, but cannot tell you with this corner the way the light works, but looks okay from here. Edge is pretty clean, and then this corner here looks pretty sharp. The back's actually decently clean. Let's check the surface for big stains, and I don't see any here. Well, maybe right by the stats. 18. Right there by the 1. Little dark stain over there. But it shouldn't be too bad. So I would tell you, looking at this one, it would be a risk, but I don't think 8's out of the question looking at it. But you want to keep in mind that it could possibly be a 7 as well. Speaking of 7s, here's the next one. It's a 1954 Bowman Duke Snider. This is in a BVG 7. And that corner actually looks pretty decent. It's not great, but it's not bad. Definitely has a little bit of fraying, a little bit of paper loss. Edge looks pretty fair over there. This corner, same thing, a little bit darkening at the tips, so you definitely have paper fray and paper loss. Moving down, going here. And over here, you got this particular corner. You can see it's not perfectly cut sharp, which is typically okay. A lot of times in vintage, just because if it doesn't break into the surface, they're typically kind of lenient on it based on my experience. Doesn't mean it's right, it just means it's my experience. But the corner is fair to me. It's got a little bit of staining. It's darkening at the tips, or browning, you should say. And then this last corner definitely has a little bit of wear right there as well. So, but it does look a little bit better as far as the corners go compared to what we just saw with the Big O. Backside, that corner looks pretty fair from here. Edge looks clean. And clean. A little choppy edge here on the, I think this would be the right side. And then the back over here, that's definitely a perfectly rounded corner. It's not a Pokemon card, so it's not supposed to look like that. So definitely significant. And this particular corner also is pretty round over there too. So I would tell you, based on back corners being as round as that is, that's likely why the grade's a little bit worse. The Oscars were just, the Oscar corners were just kind of like, what do you call it? Had a little bit of fraying, paper loss here and there, but they weren't significantly round like that. So that one, same thing. If you wanted to try across the PSA, I do see that being a 7 candidate again though. So we were able to get a 59 tops to a PSA 7 that looked, in my opinion, probably similar, maybe a little bit worse than what you have, but we'll see. Next one here is a 52 Bowman Gil Hodges. This is a near mint 8, which is insane for a 52. All right, let's take a look though. Corner there, you can tell it's just the way they cut things with super dull blades, or with scissors. I couldn't be able to tell yet, but could be either the way it looks. Corner here, pretty fair. Edge looks nice and clean over there. This is just a beautiful card. There you go. Corner, same thing. It's a little bit rounded, as you can tell. But some of these cards, the way they were just cut. But then you see this corner, you're like, well, you know, they could all be like that. So I would tell you this is not ideal. This is more likely ideal based on the year. So outside of that, let's check this out. The surface, what we can see, little print issues right there. Just little print dots, ink. Little print spot there. 2. And then we're just looking for major things like that. I can't tell you. It's probably on the slab though. It's unlikely this card's scratched like that and got an 8, but you never know since it is all subjective. A couple more little print dots, which is okay. Backside, let's double check here. That's pretty nice. There. Not ideal, but not terrible. Edge is definitely choppy. It's like they cut it with those scissors that you make little ribbons with. Okay, there's that. You got nice corners. And that's pretty clean. It looks a little funky, obviously it's not perfectly straight, but for the most part all the paper is there. So I would tell you that you could potentially get an 8 again. It might be something that sometimes with something that old that you do try to leave it in the slab. I can clean the slab obviously to try and get as many scratches off of it as possible before you send that in to kind of save you potential heartbreak, but let me know what you want to do there. Next one is a SGC 8.5. This is a 96-97 Skybox Premium New Editions Kobe Bryant. Now I've had another one come my way recently, Anthony, and let's take a look at this one. So corners, you can see it definitely has a little bit of wear right here. It's a little bit gray, and then the corner itself also has a little bit of gray paper loss. Top edge definitely has a little bit of chipping all the way across, and a little chipping right there as well. Edges are semi-clean, I would say, but not what you'd like, because what I'm talking about is it's not this white that you care about, just because that's really just with the flow of the card. It's this white that cuts into the actual surface. So what you're looking for is this stuff. Like that is just basically the border of the card. This is not good either, because you can see it cuts in away from the green. So that's what you're trying to avoid on these types of cards. And that's why it's so hard, at least in my opinion. Not hard to grade, because obviously you can look at this and assign a number to it. Hard to find it in good condition. There you go, another one. There's really nothing such as a tough grade. It's just cards. What I mean by that is that, like, you know, you hear a lot of people go, "Oh, that's a tough grade." No, it's a shitty card. So this right there, you can see there's plenty of edge wear. Backside though looks freaking phenomenal. Look at that. The corner's nice and round, the way it's supposed to be. The surface is not cut into. Edge looks good. I think the back saved this card from potentially having a lower grade, honestly, with SGC, because the back edges are great. Same with the corners. Look at that. There's really nothing to nitpick about. There you go. Well, that could be on the slab too. Can't tell you if that's a slab scuff or if it's actually part of the card. But let's see, surface wise, can't tell you, but I guarantee there's probably at least a couple roller lines, as they always are. Surface though on these, I was explaining, if you hadn't watched the video where I had Anthony's card, which is the same one, is that it's very hard to scratch these surfaces because they're not flat. These are little ridges on everything, just like Pokemon, like trainer cards. They're hard to scratch because of the fact that there's nothing really for a scratch to catch on to unless it's super deep. So surface generally will be fine on this for the most part, unless you have big scratches in this side of the foil. And this is flat foil, so that's different. You can definitely get scratches on that. But I can tell you that it probably won't be a 9, and getting a PSA 8.5 to match is very hard, since they don't really give a ton of those out. I think I've had 4 out of literally thousands of cards that I've sent over come back maybe 8.5. But so that one, you know, you could try to run the risk of getting a 9, but based on what you see, let me know what you think. Based on what I see, I don't think that's possible, but let me know. Next one here is the 96-97 Skybox EX2000 Kobe base rookie. This one is a SGC 8. First corner, you can tell, is got significant paper loss, or foil loss I should say. Clean edge though on the top. This corner has minor white tip and a little bit of fraying, which is okay. Edge is nice and clean. Oh, there's a little bit of chipping right there, which is what you're looking for in these cards. Once again, it's not a tough grade, it's just a very tough card to find a good condition. There you go, another white tip. And let's see, a little chipping and another white tip. So you basically got 4 white tips. Surface on this, like I said, you're not going to really see scratches over here because it's the same thing as the Pokemon trainer stuff. Like I said, it's just all it's uneven, it's not flat, so it's hard to really catch on. It's a little bit of fraying. I definitely want to catch on to something like that. You can also see right here a little bit of the foil's pressed in. So those are things you look for, but it's very hard to actually find scratches on these types of cards unless it's on the window, because it's all acetate, and that is where you'll probably have a ton of issues. Willing to bet that some of these are on the card for sure. It's because it's very hard to find an acetate card that doesn't have at least a few lines on it, but Neat. All right, let's check out the back though. The back's gonna tell more of a story. This corner here looks like it has a touch of white as well. Clean top edge. Right side, this corner, let's double check. I don't want to guess for you, but let's take a look. Definitely has some paper loss as well. Going down the edge, nice and clean. Bottom here, this one definitely has a white tip, and bottom edge is actually fairly clean. And the last corner here looks like it might be decently clean, but probably a white tip. This one might pass. I don't see anything glowing even in person. Looks like it might have a minor tip, white tip, but fairly clean. I think 8 is the likely grade because of the amount of corner wear that's on this one. Like, that's pretty significant. The other ones you could typically get up 9 with, in my opinion, but this one right here it makes it pretty hard because I can see it without the scope. It's pretty unsightly. So let me know what you want to do there. Next card here is a 2015-16 Panini Clear Vision Kobe Bryant, and this is one of the acetate cards. So subgrades: 9.5 centering, 9 corners, 9 edges, and 8 for surface. So corner there, nice and sharp. Edge, you can see there's a little bit of a divot right there, so likely an indent on acetate, which acetate there's no flexibility in something like that. Corner, they probably gave you a 9 for that corner because it's slightly round, but it's just the way it's cut. I don't consider it damaged, so that might be just one of those things where the subjectivity got the best of that particular subgrade. And this side looks nice and sharp. Surface is usually 90% of the issues with these cards. I think the card is designed to have the C slightly missing, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look at other copies to be able to confirm. But same with the N here. I think that's probably part of the design then, but I'll confirm with you. I won't be able to tell you if these scratches that you see are on the card or on the slab, especially with a clear card. So we'll have to be able to kind of crack that out and tell you. But one thing to note about acetate cards is all the scratches are always on the front side. They're never on the back, because if you've ever printed on acetate before, I think you'll notice there's a rough side and a smooth side, just like overhead sheets. Smooth side is what's presenting, which is this side. And that side is the one where it gets all the scratches because it's incredibly flat and smooth surface, where the back is kind of like, once again, like I said, the Pokemon foil. It's little ridges, little dots, so the ink can stick to it. So that's why you rarely ever, if ever, see scratches on the back on an acetate card, and 1000% of the time see it on the front. So this particular card, I don't think that it's not possible to get a 9, a bump if you wanted to. This is an 8.5, but we'll have to kind of risk cracking it to find out, so let me know. Next here is the HGA9 Justin Herbert. This is a blue scope rookie, so this got 9 corners, 9 edges, 8.5 for centering, and 9.5 for surface. So just, in my opinion, HGA, they're all over the map with their centering. You'll see some stuff where they have 10 for subgrade for centering, and the card's clearly off, especially when you measure it, but even when you're looking at it. So take anything you see HGA wise for centering grade with a grain of salt. But let's double check. You've got a nice corner here. Edge looks clean. Don't see any chipping. Right corner here looks nice and sharp. The white you see is actually on the back coming through. It's the understock that's just cut a little bit bigger than the front. Edge is clean. Bottom left, that's an undoubtedly beautiful corner. And we got the right, bottom right, and that is really nice as well. So edge is good, corners look pretty good. Surface wise, let's see if we can spot anything of note that could be detrimental to the grade. It's already a 9, so I don't think for a card of this year it could really be much worse. Most of them are at least mint. But I'm looking for dimples and I don't see any. I'm looking for indentations, I don't see any. I'm looking for big print lines and I also do not see any yet. So surface here looks pretty good. It did get the 9.5. Let's check the back. So I don't see anything yet that warrants a 9, but back corner here, a little dark, but it could be just a wet mark, could be moisture, but it could be paper loss. It's funky. Might be pressed, and that's just what it is. Sometimes moisture gets in and creates that little bubble, dark bubble, so cannot confirm unless I crack it out, but that's something to note and think about. Back edge looks nice and clean. This corner, definitely the edge has chipping right there. You can see it's got paper loss. But the corner is nice. It's the edge right next to it that's not good. Okay. And in this particular corner here, looks like it's got some gloss missing. So what I mean by that is, like, you see how this is all nice and shiny, and it just disappears and it's no longer shiny. Typically that's a sign of actual stock loss. Let's see if it glows or darkens. So you can see with this particular corner, when we get there, see how the light reflects, it gets dark. So that tells me two things. The way it's shaped, how you look at it and see it looks like a perfectly flipped triangle, like this piece actually belongs there. That tells me it's not actual paper loss, it's the back peel that's peeled up again, and it's very common in these. But once you turn that black light on, you can't unsee anything. So look at these chips on the bottom edge. So, and there's quite a bit of it. So that's something you want to think about. To me, automatic, not going to be a gem in 10 with at least PSA. SGC might have a shot still at a 9.5, maybe even a 10. They're a little bit more lenient on little things like that. So let me know what you want to do with that one. And then next we have a beautiful card, a 1958 Topps Johnny Unitas, man. Thank you for sending this one. This is awesome. I do not obviously own this card, and you know, it's not likely that I'll get one in my hands anytime soon, but 6.5, this is a Beckett, so let's double check. This has no subgrades. Alright, so first corner here, based on what we can see, looks a little bit rounded and potential paper loss. It is a little bit dark, so I would confirm that. Top edge here looks pretty clean. We got the right corner. Let's see what we can spot here. If this light would just cooperate with me. Not perfectly sure, but it's pretty damn good. There's very minor wear at the tip. You can see the discoloration in comparison to the stock on the surface. So that's something to think about as well. Going up the edge, edge actually looks fairly clean. Very minor chipping, but considering, you know, a lot of dull blades, like, that's pretty good. Here we go, same thing. We got this corner. Obviously you can see it's not perfectly sharp. It's nice and round actually, but I don't see a ton of paper loss. It's just wear over the years, and over time, and over just whoever had this in hand. There was really nothing to store these cards back then, so a little bit of rounding, a little bit of paper loss, but not bad. And then this last corner here, you can see has a little touch of discoloration as well, so it means it's not part of the top layer. It's actually the understock, so that corner's just slowly chipped away. So that's kind of the corners there. Let's look at the surface, see if we notice any big print issues. There's a little print dot maybe, a little print defect I should say. But thank you guys. A lot of vintage coming my way lately, and vintage is really fun. It does take a little bit longer to kind of look at, just because it's not like it's looking at a Prism card. There's just a lot more to them, especially since they're paper. A little chunk missing from the surface right there. And I've been working on a lot of cool vintage stuff, just taking a look at them and all that good stuff. So alright, cool, man. So overall, it's a beautiful card. It's in good shape. Backside, little edge wear, paper loss on the corners as expected. Same thing, paper loss there. Sharp corner, but paper loss. And this last corner is round. So I do think there might be a shot at trying to get a minimal bump, but you do run the risk of the opposite too. Whenever they do a half grade, you got to think about this, because you're literally a half grade away from either side. One is going to make you happy, the other is going to make you just melt. So you got to decide what you want to do on something like that, because it can always swing both ways. I don't really see it not going one way, or the other. Like, it's not a cop-out, just because when you're looking at this and you're trying to look at something that's half a grade difference, it's really, really difficult to tell. I don't see any kind of red flags to prevent that from being an actual thing if you wanted a grade bump, but let me know what you want to do. We'll go from there. And last but not least, we have a 96-97 Topps Kobe Bryant SGC 9.5. So let's take a look here. Nice sharp corner, which is important. Corner here has paper loss, edge loss too. So right here, a little dark, and then the tip also dark. So I would tell you, based on my experience with PSA and the criteria that they hold for corners, that this is probably in the best slab that you'll be able to get this card. So if it were my card, just based on that alone, I would probably not end up sending it, just knowing what I run into as far as risk goes. But let's check the back to see if there's anything else. Let's give us another reason not to send it. So this corner, I don't like the way that the light's reflecting on it. It tells me it's not perfectly flat. However, that's not the end of the world. It's just something to note. A little print defect right there. Then we have a corner here that is pretty fair, I would say. It's not perfectly sharp, but it's not bad. Edges have a little bit of indentation. You can tell by the way the light reflects. Kind of just wrinkles in. And this corner definitely has a little bit more paper loss to add to the front paper loss. And you can see the difference right there. It gets pretty dark. So this card, in my opinion, same thing Steve, is something that I would definitely keep in this slab, just because it's probably going to be in the best grade that it's already in. So there you guys have it, man. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Steve, once again. All the cards are in slabs, so hope this gives you guys a better idea of what, at least what I look for. I mean, you might look for something different, but when I'm buying slabs that are not 10s, because I don't buy cards that are 10s to begin with, I look for these things to see if there's a possibility for a grade bump based on foundations. So, you know, and a lot of times it sounds great to go out and buy 9s and stuff like that and see if you can make a little bit more money, but more often than not, it doesn't happen. So, you know, tread with caution when you guys are out there checking out stuff. But, you know, of course, as always, I wish you guys all the best luck. Steve, I will catch up with you. Let me know what you want to do. Please go on Flickr, and feel free to put in your comments if you want me to crack it or not. And, you know, I'll catch you again soon. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.